I wanted to have people who are enthusiastic about the case to be able to come on this panel also and share their ideas, because it's such a wealth of information out there and everyone has their own points of view, which creates really great discussions. And as you know, there was never any really any direct evidence against Lizzie, and of course there was a lot of circumstantial evidence, some that was even inadmissible in the court, and also there was an all-male jury. So with our panel, I'd like to bring our panel in and introduce the panel. Hey guys.
Hey all.
Hey.
Welcome to the Lizzie Borden Inadmissible, the Case of Lizzie Borden podcast. Thank you for all coming here today. So let me start off with the guy right next to me. His name's Jonas Manashowitz, and he's a friend of mine. He just recently became a Lizzie Borden enthusiast.
Absolutely, after reading your book. After reading Inadmissible.
So he is a very, very beginner of the journey into the Lizzie Borden world. Next, and I'm going to go through everyone and then we'll come back. Next is Rusty Judd and Dan, of course, sitting there too. Both of them have been around the Lizzie Borden case for how many years, Rusty?
I was 17 when I started being interested in her case.
Wow. That's impressive. It's impressive. So, Rusty Judd, and then we have Keith Morrison from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome, Keith.
Hello, thank you, Kimbra. Welcome, everyone else. This is great. It's been a while.
It's been a while, right?
It's been a while. I was fortunate to have had tea and murder with you and Shelley.
Yes,
and,
yes.
A couple of
so
times. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful experience.
Yeah, and then we're going to get back to everyone. And then Sue Vickery, of course. Sue, long time no see. And she worked at the Lizzie Borden house, and also Maplecross. She spent a good amount of time there, so I'm very happy to have her here. So I'm going to go around again, and I'm working on that, Rusty. I'm going to send you the link. I guess I will. I'm going to start with, actually, I'll start with Sue. Sue, tell us your background, how you got involved with the Lizzie Borden case, and also today's topic is if we feel she's innocent or guilty. So let us know, your answer to that.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Fall River, so I was always interested in Lizzie Borden. I was only 10 years old when Elizabeth Montgomery's movie came out. We would drive by the house every day, so I started studying the case. Then the opportunity came along to work at the bed and breakfast. I'd spent 10 years there, and then I became caretaker of her Maplecroft mansion until that sold. So I've been around it for quite a few years.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me, Sue, when you were young, you said you kind of became aware of it all. You were around 10 years old or so when the Elizabeth Montgomery movie came out. Were you always compelled by Lizzie's story?
Oh, yeah. I remember asking my dad because he was a homicide detective in Fall River.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't know that. That's new.
Oh, yeah. And,
so none of this is by accident for you, it seems.
And he actually brought me home copies of the original crime scene photos from the police department. So, he would talk to me about it a little bit. He did a ton of research. My favorite hangout was the Historical Society,
Wow. That's really interesting.
And those crime photos that you're talking about, I think they were the first ever in the United States having to do with crime scenes, photos taken, right?
Yeah.
Am I right with that? Yeah.
To my knowledge, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, photography was pretty new, actually, for the most part.
Yeah, well, they weren't even considered crime scene photographs. A local photographer was dragged over to the scene to record the images.
Right, so he wasn't specifically a forensics guy. He was just somebody who had a camera.
Exactly.
Right. There's probably not that many people had cameras back then.
No, not too many people could afford to have their photo taken.
Wow.
So, and then you moved over to, I guess after you left 92nd Street, and you spent time at Maplecroft taking care of the house until it was sold.
Correct.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing, to have that opportunity to spend so much time in both houses, because they're both historic. I mean, wow.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It amazes me. Yeah.
You're probably the definitive, probably the definitive voice, certainly in America.
Yeah, if you think about that. That's pretty crazy. I'm
so grateful to have a chance to talk to you about this. It's really great.
Yeah, you have.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Keith, let us know how you became involved with the case. And
Well, mine is purely, fanboy type situation, and armchair detective and lover of history and lover of historical people. Initially, I was told, I was about 11 or 12 years old, someone told me about this girl who stripped naked and killed her parents. And as a young kid who was just getting into an interest in true crime, that one, it appealed to me. I thought it was an interesting thing. I didn't realize the girl was 30, and everything else about the story may have been more legend than fact. So, I mean, it sort of entered into my, any true crime fan has their, or enthusiast has their, they'll watch or consume almost anything, but they have their 3 or 4, like almost their personal canon, where there's a couple of these cases that they keep going back to and seeing again and again. Lizzie Borden's, the Borden case was one for me. Let's flash forward to 2020. We're in the COVID pandemic. I'm a performer. A lot of my friends are performers. We were itching to perform. So we started doing the transcript and releasing it on YouTube, the trial transcript, and making our way through that. So that's where it really went from being kind of a hobby to an everyday in the books, digging deep, going through the transcripts, going through the old message boards, and really consuming as many opinions on the case as I could. And the beauty of doing the transcript was, for anyone involved, we didn't need an opinion on guilt. We were reading other people's opinions on guilt. So yeah, it's been a wonderful thing for me. The community is such a fantastic community. Sure, people are passionate, did she or didn't she? But at the end of the day, I find that the folks online, the folks on the message boards are a wonderful group of people who are, I find, equally or probably more interested in the story than the actual was she guilty or not. Yet it is always fun to sit down and say, we're all friends here. We'll all be friends as we leave the room, but let's get nasty. So yeah. So that's it. And certainly folks like Shelley and Faye and the Historical Society and the house itself and many others have done far more work and have far more knowledge than I ever will. But it's been such a joy for me over the past 5 years, where I've really delved in and gotten to know it better than 90% of those people that are out there.
Right. Have you ever thought, I mean, you have a theater group where you're at. Have you ever thought about like writing your take on the Lizzie Borden story and have, a play?
Yes, absolutely. There's a few different ways it could go. I think there's certainly Blood Relations is a play about Lizzie Borden that's been around. That's probably, to my knowledge, the one that's best known. there's a few other ones out there, but I do have an idea. I'm not going to say too much right now, but there's a couple of interesting characters that are on the periphery a little bit. Some folks that are sort of side characters, if you will, to the actual case that have some really interesting stories that could merit some fun pieces.
So I'm going to go around the room real quick and just say yes or no. Guilty or innocent? Keith, guilty or innocent?
Guilty.
Jonas, guilty or innocent?
Guilty.
Rusty?
I believe she did do it.
Dan?
Did.
I think she was involved, but I don't think she actually swung the axe.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, and Sue?
Guilty.
Okay, and I think she's guilty too. So isn't that funny that it's a unanimous guilty?
Well, almost.
Almost.
Her involvement is unanimous.
Yeah. So who do you think swung the axe then, Dan?
Yeah.
Or the hatchet? We should say hatchet.
Hatchet. I think Uncle Morse had something to do with it, because he showed up unexpected, no luggage, and who goes around and memorizes the badge number of the trolley operator? I mean, I used to take Metro North to work every day from Bedford to the city. And I'd always get the same train going in and 99% the same train coming home. And I would see the same conductor. But if you asked me what his badge number was, I couldn't tell you to save my life.
Now, to pick out that.
This is true.
And throw this out.
But what would have been his
diagnosed back then, but perhaps she was savant.
So,
and he could memorize things and knew everything. I saw this, I saw that, I saw this, I saw that, I saw that. Nope. There was never any other place that he went where anyone would have asked him these questions.
But yet he came back to the house and didn't notice the big mob in front of the house after the murders.
Well, but what would have been his motive? What would have been his motive?
Apparently, there was a deal in the works to sell off the Swansea farm, which is where he lived and worked. If that happened, he'd be out of a job.
No, I don't think he lived and worked there.
He didn't live there.
No, he traveled in from whatever state he was. We was in Montana or wherever it was.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Okay, I was told he worked on the Swansea farm.
No.
I think maybe he was trying to make a deal with Andrew with horse sales or something, maybe.
Yeah,
the horse sales. Yeah.
Andrew had written him a while back.
Yeah.
The next time he was in town, he needed to talk to him. He wanted advice about the farm. He did respect John Morse. He was his brother-in-law for many years. Very smart businessman. So Andrew was expecting him to come over. Andrew was ill that day. So John offered to go out to the farm to grab the eggs and check on things. And he got back to 2nd Street late that night. And Abby actually is the one who asked him to stay, Dan. That's why he didn't have any luggage. He was planning on heading back to Dartmouth that night where he was staying. But Abby convinced him to spend the night at the house.
Okay. Right. So, and the other thing, too, with the theory of somebody else. So, Lizzie was the only one in the house for both murders, right? She was the only one in the house for both murders. And the first murder, Bridget was out of the house washing windows, and then she came in and went upstairs.
So Bridget was actually in the house when Andrew was killed, but she was up in her room.
But she was up on the 3rd floor.
Yes.
Correct.
So if and Lizzie in her inquest testimony, and the inquest testimony is fascinating in itself too, because it went missing. I have it here. Let's see. It was I'll find it. The testimony. So Lizzie and Bridget's inquest testimony went missing, volume 1. And to this day, it's never been found. The only reason we have Lizzie's inquest testimony only is because the Boston Globe made their own transcribed record of it. And for that to vanish into nowhere, in itself is fascinating to me. Like, did somebody pay somebody off for that to disappear? And there was a lot of money. There was a lot of money involved with Lizzie and paying her defense lawyers and stuff. I mean, they got paid a large amount of money.
Yeah, especially by today's standards.
Yeah. So if anyone else did it, in Lizzie's inquest testimony that we have, she placed herself in different places, and she also said, "Oh, well, I was out in the barn and I heard him moaning and I came in." So if she heard him moaning and she said that was Andrew, then she would have ran right into that killer. Because how could he have gotten out? All the doors were locked and stuff. So anybody that says an outsider came in to do the murders, their theory is kind of cracked because of that. Any comments?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, they also would have had to hide for an hour to 90 minutes somewhere in the house.
Right, probably with blood on them.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. With as far as the transcripts, one thing that I have noticed, and I don't know if it's the passage of time or what has happened, but they did seem to be a lot more fast and loose with things like keeping transcripts safe and chain of evidence, as we'll notice with the trail of where the facts went. It is something that we put a lot of thought in nowadays because things are so guarded, and chain of custody and all that stuff matters a lot. At that point in time, it could have just as easily wound up in a pile of yesterday's newspapers because the wrong person put it on the wrong desk without thinking and went to lunch, and then so there's always possibilities of that sort of stuff. But thank God we have that copy from the was it Boston Globe or
Boston Globe. Boston Globe.
Thank God we have that copy of the Boston Globe transcript, because there is so much that's missing.
But I mean, Keith, don't you think that the importance of that case, maybe they would have given extra attention to that? To listen, this is sacred stuff. It has to be guarded. It has to be,
Yeah, because it was big
Absolutely.
news.
Quite possibly, yeah. By all means, they certainly could have. I'm just sort of throwing something out there. But what we also have to remember is the case, much like OJ and Casey Anthony and all these other ones years later, they snowball. But mind you, that being said, it was big news the day after. But trial of the century was I don't think coined until a little bit later.
Yeah, I think it's amazing in that time period, and
Yeah.
I guess people had nothing better to do because there was no TV or anything like that. It was always seemed like in the Lizzie Borden story there were hundreds of people everywhere, every day, a crowd of people somewhere, wherever it was, even in, right up into the court case and the trial, just hundreds of people.
and
Like,
and
all the
even
time.
after the initial, I mean, for the remainder of her life, she was infamous, and people would approach her, right, or whisper about her when she came in the room, or but Sue, you said something earlier that made me think she kind of liked that. I think Lizzie sort of liked that, even though it was maybe subversive attention, or I think she kind of had an attraction to the attention, even if it was these sort of murmurings and but I think she didn't care whether it was negative or positive. She just liked the attention.
She did actually have a collection of all the newspaper articles that were out there. She saved them all. So maybe so.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. She actually presented them to Andrew Jennings after the trial.
Wow. Is there still stuff in the lawyer's office that they still have under lock and key? I mean, is that still a thing?
Yes. We had somebody from the law firm come to the house one time, And he said that they still have everything from the trial under lock and key, and nobody can get access to it.
Why is that?
I have no idea.
I mean, is it because if we knew the truth that they wouldn't make money anymore as a tourist attraction?
Well, he didn't say the answers were in there. He just said everything from the trial.
Well, I mean, Lizzie could have confided in him because, you never know. You never know.
No, she never would have done that.
You don't think so?
No.
Is that Jennings or Robinson, Sue?
Robinson, the Boston office. Yeah.
So, what's going on in the house right now? I haven't been up since COVID, basically. After I saw you at Maplecroft, and then it got taken over by new owners, and then they had the coffee shop built next door, which I thought was great, actually. That little coffee shop was so cool because it looks like it has like local paintings and stuff in there, like a kind of like a really cool little artsy shop. And,
it is.
Yeah, so there was that whole big thing going on. I think the case was solved, though. I mean, I think the trial, like the coffee shop is okay. Because,
the lawsuit.
The lawsuit, because of the trade. You can't, there's no trademark on
No, he doesn't own, the coffee shop won.
Okay,
as
good.
As far as the house goes, I left there when the new owner took over.
Okay.
Basically, the whole staff left at that time. He's been making some changes under Shelley's guidance, believe it or not.
I heard. So what's going on there? Because she, if she's involved, she's going to try to make and bring it back to 1892 and what tourists like me would really want to see if you go. I don't want to see, like a Lego bench.
Exactly.
It's like,
Right.
Don't get me started.
So Shelley's there sort of like bringing them back to where they should be as far as tourism?
He's listening. He's made a few changes.
Oh, what'd he change?
Well, he painted the house. It's actually closer to the color it was at the time of the murders. A little more of a drab
green? Okay.
Yeah, with darker shutters. She got him to put the Andrew Borden nameplate on the front door again.
Oh, okay, good. Baby steps, baby steps.
She's been working, I think, on the accuracy of the tour.
Oh, because it was bad?
I never took it personally, but I've heard a few things.
Okay.
A little misinformation given out, which isn't uncommon, but...
So, and in the house too, like when I would stay there, I would, we were allowed to have full reign of the house, like the whole stay overnight and stuff and explore. Yeah. Now I saw they have ghost hunts and guests are supposed to stay in their room or something like that.
Correct.
So what the heck does that mean?
And what he does now is you self-check in. So there's no staff there to greet you. There's no night tour for the overnight guests. They do a house tour, but you have to pay extra if you want to join their tour.
Are you kidding me?
Not
I
kidding.
guess you're not kidding me. You're telling me.
And then they do a ghost hunt, like you mentioned, where if you did not pay to join in, you're confided to your room until that's over with.
Wow.
The basement is locked to overnight guests, so you don't have any access to that.
When would you have access with the tour? Do they take you down?
You would have to join the ghost hunt. I don't know if his tour goes down there, but the tour,
that's an interesting part of the house. I mean,
and the tour doesn't even go upstairs because there could be guests in the rooms that haven't paid to join the tour.
No.
How would you like a tour of just the first floor and basement? Yeah.
No, that's not right.
No.
That's the best part of the house. Kenny, bring up the slides in the middle, like the orange one.
I would definitely, the guest room would be the first room that I would want to visit. Where Abby's
That's
life
what I was saying.
ended.
When I stayed there, we had full reign of the house. We had, we could go anywhere we wanted to. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, so the ideal tour is to see the first floor and, see how that's like a circular thing. You could go through room, through room, through room. And then the second floor where Abby's body, that's the guest room. You can go straight through. Jonas has never been to the house, by the way.
I have not. I hope to
You could
one
go
day, though.
through straight through, there's a back hall. I mean, there's a back stairs that goes down into the kitchen. You can see to the first floor. So, I mean,
to the attic,
yeah, into the attic, right. So, I mean.
The daytime tour, Kimbra, does the whole house.
Okay.
But if you're an overnight guest, no.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh.
Oh my gosh, that's like crazy. Bring up the sitting room where the couch is, Kenny. So how much is it for the tour that you have to pay extra?
I don't know. I don't work there. I know it's extra for anything else that you do. Breakfast is extra.
Wow. So
See,
Jonas,
now free Johnny cakes was always the attraction for me.
I think those Johnny cakes taste pretty bad, don't they? Like
acquired taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember, one of the first times I stayed there, I think they made Johnny cakes so you could try it, but then they had a real breakfast that you could eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the mutton. Anyway, the way the house is laid out, it's called a railroad style, and you can walk room through room. So, like, whoever murdered Andrew would have had, where the door is, like right beside the couch, would have had to been there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a small window of like 20 minutes, I think it is, before the police showed up, and Lizzie had control of that, so she could have made that any time she wanted to, but at that time it was about, I believe,
it was about a 15-minute window, right?
Yeah,
like
about
10:55 to 11:05,
something like that. Yeah, it was a short window, and then the cops, I think, came at 20 minutes after, maybe. I think the first one was there that showed up. So the question is, and that a lot of people have, is how if she did it, could there have not been any blood, anywhere on her person? And
that's an enduring part of the mystery for sure.
Yeah. Theories?
Rusty, go ahead.
Okay.
Speak your mind, man.
The one thing that has been mentioned from several people, Andrew was very particular about his coat. He always hung it on the thing in the hallway, wherever he hung it.
The hook.
The hook. He always hung those hooks. But when they found him, his coat was folded up underneath his head. There's the supposition that good old Liz wore that coat because she was big. She was only 5'3"?
She was very slight,
5'3". So that would have covered her completely. She could have wailed at him. It's already bloody. Folds it up, throws it under his head. Who's going to look?
Right, and there was a doily on top of that too. I think it was a coat, a pillow, and a doily. Kenny, bring up that Andrew crime scene photo. It was his
Liz
coat.
was 5'4".
A pillow, and I think a doily on top of that. And somebody, I think it was Shelley, said that maybe the photographer did that to prop him up. But I don't know if that's true. If I were a photographer, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's
if
a little
it's a crime
thin.
scene photo.
That's a little thin. Yeah,
Wouldn't you want
it's
it
not
as
a crime
is?
scene photo. No, and his body was touched. Remember how Lizzie testified that she helped him off with his shoes?
Right, but they're still on.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, in theory, they could have actually put them back on him, fixed them a little bit, and then took that photo.
This is true, but we don't know. I mean, because then if that's the case, it would blow our theory out of the water.
Yeah, because these photos weren't taken to be used as evidence.
Mhm.
Police
Right, but
just
they were
didn't
in the
think it.
trial, though, right?
They were presented, but not to say that this is exactly how the bodies were found.
Right,
Yeah, I
because
believe one of the police had also testified that his ankles were crossed or his legs were sort of
Yeah,
crossed over.
his body was moved, and so was Abby's.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I knew
Why?
Abby. I knew Abby's because they didn't
It would
know
have
back then what a crime scene was.
no, it wouldn't have been proper to present them without shoes, with her skirt up.
Yeah, I
You
know they
couldn't do
brought
that.
her skirt down to cover.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the crime scene photo closely, it looks like there's a little sheet or a blanket covering half of her.
Hey, bring up Abby's photo. Maybe I'm looking at
There's
it
a
at a
different.
different
Yeah,
angle. I know the
there's a
other angle. I
different.
don't have that one right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that one you can see better.
Yeah,
yeah.
they took the bed apart, didn't they, to get the other angle?
They
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Wasn't she half? They pulled her out from under the bed too, didn't they, or no? Because I thought at
She was part. Yeah, she was
part under
partially.
the
I think
bed.
like an arm under the bed, maybe part of her head.
Yeah,
In an attempt to maybe crawl away from the attack?
yeah, I
or-
would think so.
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't?
Because
right.
she
She
saw
was
her
wounded. She was severely wounded.
because I think she saw her killer first because the first blow was on the neck or something, and then I guess she turned around to go away, right?
Right, or the blow spun her around.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So and then 19 times. That is astounding.
That is so hard to envision.
Brutal.
That is
And-
no higher killer.
No, it's not. And the thing with Andrew, yeah, Kenny, you can switch that out to something. Maybe
How about to the Bedford cord?
yeah. Well, all three dresses. We can talk to all three dresses.
Yeah.
So, and Andrew wasn't expected home. So, Andrew only got 11 hits, only 11 hits. So it was a little bit more mild as far as anger, which could have meant that maybe she was just tired.
So she must have been exhausted. Yeah.
Because that, like, to build up that much, to wait an hour and then to build it up again. So I never understood Andrew's, as much as I could totally get Abby, the reason why, the motive behind it. But I still have trouble with the motive with Andrew.
Unless she was just in this blind blood rage, again, maybe she was bipolar. I don't think she was high on anything, but it's so much of it is, there's so many questions that's why I guess it's such an enduring mystery. But Keith, what do you think that it was? Her kind of. Do you think it was ultimately like financially motivated, because she did end up living pretty opulently, right? She certainly wasn't shy about spending money. And do you think that, because after her trip to Europe, she kind of got a taste of the good life? And I was curious your take on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all supposition, of course, but I do think that there would have had to been some sort of financial motivation in there. And one thing I've often wondered, and I'm certainly not the first to bring this up anywhere, was if Andrew had come home when he was supposed to, there may have been time for Lizzie to get rid of Abby or to come up with a good story. Because Andrew came home early, suddenly there was no other.
She had to fully commit. Right? Yeah.
And it was noted a few places as well that, even if both of them went, it was key to her and it was to her benefit that Abby went first, due to the way the will would shake out. So even if both were going, it had to be Abby first. But yeah, I think financially, I mean, the only other option is a conversation that we'll never know that may have happened where Abby said just the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person. Um, you
And Lizzie
know,
overheard it.
Lizzie overheard it. Yeah, I really don't subscribe to Emma being like a mastermind from far away, sending signals and messages to do it today. I think this was purely a Lizzie Abby thing that Andrew was either part of or got pulled into due to coming home early. And
So
money is always where you
Yeah,
look
follow the
first.
money. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
here's an idea that it all it has come up in my brain, like the night before the murders, right? Abby was there, John Morrison and Andrew, and they were discussing something. People think that it was some kind of money thing where somebody would benefit, and Sue, I don't even know like what exactly the conversation was. Was it over real estate or something like that? Like supposedly the night before.
Well, I heard that they were possibly discussing putting the farm in Abby's name.
Okay, all
I
right.
see. And
So I don't think that was the conversation at all. I sort of think that back then. There's always been this thing about how Lizzie is peculiar. Everywhere she went, oh, she's peculiar.
Yeah, it
and
comes up a lot.
It comes up a lot, and then people visiting the house. She would never go down and hang out with them and do a proper ladies' visit. She would, I guess, stay up in a room and be unsociable kind of thing. I always thought that maybe, because Andrew told Emma to be around just in case, I need you. There was somewhere that I read in a transcript that Andrew, Emma went away, but Andrew said, well, be around if I need you. What if they were discussing on committing Lizzie?
it happened very often at that time.
He could have brought John there to say, hey, this is it. I'm at my last legs. Let's put her in an asylum.
That might have triggered the rage for sure.
I don't know. Just the thought has gone like zip through my head. Like, just real quick. Is it a possibility?
If she did overhear a conversation like that, it certainly could trigger.
Because women were put in women were put in mental institutions for having their period, or talking out of line or any number of many things, that could have been done. So I don't know.
But yet the irony of that is that it seems like she was given a lot of empathy in the trial.
Yeah.
As well. So, again.
It's a crazy thought. I know it's a crazy thought, but the thought had crossed my head. Like, I would have committed her.
Yeah. Careful where you say that.
Yeah. I mean, because, I don't think she was very popular in the town with the ladies and all the clubs and stuff like that.
No, she didn't stay long as a member in those clubs.
Well, I don't think either of the girls did, really. I think maybe they both had some issues.
I mean, she had good friends. She wasn't popular with the people she wanted to be popular with.
Okay.
They were above her, and she felt she should be a part of that. Mm-hmm. But as far as your theory goes, I don't know. I think it had to do with money and other things going on in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the father had been sick for a while lately, so that could be a reason he wanted a way to get a hold of Emma if he needed her.
Okay. All right.
If he
see
died,
how the imagination goes, and you want to make these theories. But go ahead, Sue. Go ahead.
Well, like Keith mentioned before, order of death matters in things. Had Andrew passed away due to illness, Andrew had no will. Everything would have gone to Abby.
Abby.
Abby didn't get along with these girls. They could have been put out into the street destitute at their ages,
Yeah, didn't at one point Abby paid Bridget extra money to keep her there?
Yeah, Bridget wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And Abby offered her more money to stay. I think there were other things going on in that house.
Yeah. There must have been.
So I think it was between that and finances that it all went down, and the fact that Andrew was up in age at that point in time. And if they just killed Abby, by the way, and Andrew lived, men didn't stay single that long back then. There's a good possibility he could have remarried.
Yeah. This is
especially
true.
A man who has money.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and is older, nearing the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Huh.
So, let's talk about the dresses. I've always been fascinated with the dresses. Can you just bring the one slide up of the 3? And I'm bringing this up because, we all think of her guilt. So, like I said, there is no direct evidence for her, in the trial. There was never any direct innocent evidence, but circumstantial evidence. So when I first heard about the Bedford Court, and by the way, these dresses are from Dressing Miss Lizzie, Paper Dolls by Shelley and her daughter, which is a tremendously beautiful book. I have it here. It's one of my favorite books. It has in it all the dresses that Lizzie wore, which by the way were all tailor-made, and like the Grand Tour when she wore a dress for that, and just all of these dresses, and through all the trial transcripts and everything that Shelley and her daughter read, they came up with these illustrations of what they may look like. And the Bedford Court always struck me because anytime I've ever heard discussion of it, it was like, oh, it had a sprig. And I always thought it was just like this light blue dress with a dark little sprig on like a pocket or something. I never knew that it was a pattern. And then it has that extra ruffle at the bottom, which looks like you could just rip that right off. And it's the only one of her dresses, if you look at all of them, that have that.
That had that ruffle.
That had that ruffle, and it's the murder dress, and the one she burnt. And then the pink wrapper, which looks totally different, that she changed into. And then, of course, the one that they presented at the trial, which is nothing like, I think it's a heavier material, and it's something you wouldn't wear in the summer even. So do you want to anyone want to talk about these dresses? Because I think it's pretty I think fascinating.
I think the Bedford Court is a large part of this discussion, because if that's the dress she was wearing at the time of the murders, and that green ruffle had the ruffle had the green paint, which may have blended in with dried blood, and then this is the dress she burned. Wasn't didn't Bridget witness her burning the dress?
No,
Alice
Russell. It was
Alice
Russell.
Alice
right.
Russell.
Yeah, her friend. Yeah.
Okay, and she testified to that.
Right, and the trial would have never taken place without that testimony. She sat on that for a while and waited. She wasn't going to say anything, and her conscience brought her to going to, I guess, the marshal or something and saying, "Hey, look, I saw this." Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and she could have ripped that. Well, she ripped it in pieces, I think. If you go in the kitchen is really crazy. And where she was, like, ripping this dress up and burning it in plain sight, and nobody stopped her. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, again, more fuel to the Lizzie Borden fire. It's all
no pun intended.
No pun intended. It's really all so shrouded in this, strange mystery of.
And how many days later was that? It was like 4 days later. Yeah.
Days. Yeah.
Wow.
Saturday, I think, or Sunday.
Yeah.
Where was this dress? And and they searched the house and went in there. Where was this dress?
Exactly.
Where was it?
In the basement.
I don't know.
In the basement, hidden.
Did she wear it?
Well, nooks and crannies, right? These older homes, and one thing I noticed doing the transcript as we learn from the police, their search was not organized. There were people searching the same closet 5 times, which, and I'm only, again, it's a supposition. If the same police are searching the same closet 5 times, well, maybe there's a corner that doesn't get looked at. But when you live in a house, you do have the advantage. You have the home field advantage of knowing, what brick is loose, or where might I stash this. So it's an interesting thing to wonder. The dresses, and the thing I'll have to say regarding myself is I have no idea what clothes people are wearing 3 seconds after they're out of my vision. So the amount of people who remembered what she was wearing and the design, especially as I think it's Officer Doherty goes really into detail, really impressive.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
He becomes like a Mr. Blackwell or one of these people, So I'm always impressed by that. Even like, nowadays you see, we're searching for this person last seen wearing a blue shirt and a red pair of pants. I wouldn't remember that. But yeah, the dress. Yeah, you're right. There wouldn't have been much of a trial unless Alice had spoke up.
Yeah, because again, there was no direct evidence, forensic wise, or pinning her to the murders.
Yeah, no remains of the dress or anything like that.
And even this was like, okay, so she burned her dress, but women back then burnt their dresses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it was the catalyst, that drove the case forward. And by the way, so when I was like knee deep in studying this case, when I was writing my book for 2 years and just doing all this research and the trial transcripts and all of that, I used to do spreadsheets and how people would answer, these questions. And in the dress question, the dressing court, there was only 2 people that agreed that Lizzie was wearing that dark blue dress that we saw, and that was Lizzie herself and Dr. Bowen. All the rest of the people, Alice Russell, she said it was light blue, figure on it. Miss Churchill said it was light blue. It could have been calico, but,
So that kind of ties into what you were saying, Keith.
Bridget even said it was a light blue dress. And
difficult to remember.
And then you were talking about Officer Doherty said it was a light blue dress, and he went into a very descriptive. So everybody they asked except 2 people said it was that dress. I
think Dr. Bowen had a lot of things to help her.
Yeah, a lot of tools in his doctor's bag, right?
Yeah, and then I can't remember. I can't think fast enough. Somebody wanted to talk to her, and she was in the bedroom with Dr. Bowen. She comes to the door and says, "Oh, hold on a minute." Closes the door.
Right.
What were they hiding? What was she doing? And then they opened the door a few minutes, a little bit later, and okay, come in.
I think Lizzie was good friends with Dr. Bowen because they were seen in town together doing theater and like stuff. So he was going to protect her at no cost.
Were they maybe romantically linked ever?
I don't think so.
Some have suggested it, but I don't think it fits. I don't know.
I think it was more like a daughter kind of
more
thing,
of a protective.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
A paternal thing. Okay.
But yeah, he definitely protected her. And that's why I did cases of other murderous women of that time period, because you would always find these women had like this knight in shining armor that would come into their rescue, these murderous women. And, they're protectors that even the jury, an all-male jury, in a way couldn't see her go to the gallows because men felt that way about women back then. Like they were the king of the house, the protector, the overseer, and if they got in trouble, they would come to the rescue. I mean, it's my train of thought.
And was it Hosea Knowlton? Was he her defense? Hosea Knowlton?
George Robinson, Andrew Jennings, and
Adams.
Melville? Adams, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Melvin Adams.
Okay. Because I seem to recall. So was Hosea Knowlton the prosecutor?
He was ahead of the police force, right? Or,
No. Knowlton and William Moody were the prosecutors.
Okay.
Right.
On that name, I sort of get the vibe that even Knowlton himself kind of went in half-heartedly. He was ill as well.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see, and there's also, I know we haven't really talked about the fact that Lizzie, Andrew had been ill, right, and Abby had been ill, and Lizzie had tried to purchase poisons, right? The puric acid, whatever, prussic acid.
Prussic acid, yeah.
And wasn't able to. Did she poison them with mercury, or if they were ill? Even in that timeline, it's kind of funny. But 9:15 a.m., Bridget goes outside to vomit. Right,
yeah.
Remember in your timeline?
Yeah.
It kind of reads funny, but so was that the fact that the poison didn't kill Abby and Andrew, so she had to take it to the next level? I was always curious about that. Did she, think the poisoning would kill them and it would be clean?
Well, she never got the prussic acid, so she had to use something else, maybe like arsenic or something, right?
Yeah, there's talk that the house was being painted, and there were paints out in the barn. She had access to chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes arsenic as part of the green paint.
The mixture of the paint, correct?
To make green paint.
Yes.
Which is crazy back in that time period.
Insane to think about that.
Yeah, women wore green murder dresses made out of green dye that killed them. So let's see, Lizzie's defense. So there was no direct evidence. There was limited forensic evidence because fingerprint testing was just started back then, but they didn't use it. They didn't have luminol. There was no blood-stained clothing. Although the dress was destroyed, no other blood-stained clothing was found. There was limited blood found on the bed linen and not enough to connect Lizzie directly to the crime. So what was there was a rag beside Abby, or a scarf or something on the floor that was found?
Right.
What was that, a scarf?
I believe it was a scarf. Or a dust rag.
Oh, that she wore on her head, right?
Yeah.
Was that ever put in the Fall River Historical Society or no? I often wondered. They have it.
They have it. Yeah.
Huh.
Wouldn't there be? Is there evidence of blood spatter? I mean, this is hatchet murders. From somebody holding a hatchet and delivering 17 blows and then 11 blows. Wouldn't there be a tremendous amount of spatter?
There was spatter.
Yeah.
Okay, and how was that written off? It
was documented. They even counted the number of dots they found over the sofa.
Okay.
Backs of doors. It was an archway over the doorways.
Yeah, there was some on the molding around the doors and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly didn't get the attention I think it would today.
Well, we don't have the technology.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Right. But, there's no Dexter around then.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the burning dress
Well,
was.
in all honesty, the investigation was very poorly handled, especially comparison to what we would today. I mean, they were letting people traipse in and out of the house.
Yeah, even public people.
Yeah, public
Yeah.
people traipsing in and out of the house. I mean, contaminating the crime scene. I
Right,
mean,
right. And maybe removing artifacts. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe removing evidence.
Yeah.
Who really knows?
removing evidence or adding evidence. Who knows?
Oh, yes. Another piece of the puzzle. Wow.
Yeah, so the hatchet that they have at the Fall River Historical Society was the hatchet they found down in the basement, and it was covered with the soot. And then there was supposedly one on top of the barn, next the crow's barn.
Yeah.
A hatchet that had, what was it? It was a new hatchet, and it had, is it called glit on it? It's like a shiny metal.
Like a gilding.
Yeah,
I think
gilding, and they found that in Abby's head, right? Like
Yes.
in the forensics, but not in Andrew's. So that piece of the puzzle always puzzled me, like why they found that, and they years later they found this hatchet up on the crow's barn, which was new, that was just up there for some reason, but the hatchet that they had in the basement wasn't a new hatchet, but yet they said that was possibly the murder weapon. So I'm really confused.
Well, it actually was the one in the basement, but it looked like somebody was trying to make it look like it wasn't.
Oh, so it was new, but they were trying to make it look like it wasn't?
Yeah, they rubbed ash on the blade and everything.
Okay.
Who would have done that?
I don't know.
And had time to do that.
Right.
When did they find that hatchet? It was days later, though, when they were doing a search, right? They didn't find it that day.
Not that day, no.
Okay.
And the one on the crow's barn, a carpenter had testified that he had lost his hatchet.
Uh-huh.
So they just assumed that was his.
Okay. A lot of assuming here. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to throw one more wrinkle in there, there's also the
Well, they thought
theory-
they already had the murder weapon on top of the carpenter's testimony. They let it go at that.
tossed it out. And then, was it even a hatchet? And this comes up a lot. The irons Lizzie was using, fire pokers. There was a lot of. I mean, there's, we could go down a million.
Well, the
rabbit holes,
iron theory.
yeah, the flat iron. Yeah, the iron she was using is one I often like to sort of postulate. Maybe not for Abby, but for Andrew, or maybe for both. Or just. Things you do when you have a long drive ahead of you,
I suppose.
I think that would have been possible at this point. Yeah.
So do you think the hatchet that's at Fall River is the murder weapon?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you think there was only one murder weapon, right?
Well, there could have been more than one. But I believe that was at least one of the murder weapons.
Okay.
So why do you think there could be more than one?
Well, it's possible that handle did break off during the attack with Abby,
Mm-hmm.
which would have rendered it useless for Andrew.
Right. Which he didn't know he was coming home.
Well, she knew he was coming home at some point. Yeah.
Right. But not at that point. Yeah.
Right.
So then, if again, more speculation, but if the weapon was now rendered useless, she might have had to grab whatever was around, right? The iron or the fireplace pokers, or yet he was, according to reports, killed with a hatchet.
Well, there was more than one hatchet in the basement.
I see. Right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she would have had to go down to the basement to retrieve another.
Yep.
In the interim. Wow.
What was it, Sue? It was three axes and two hatchets, if I'm not mistaken.
That they found. Who
they
knows how
found,
many
yeah.
there were to start with, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Axes are pretty big and heavy, so I would assume that she.
Oh no,
used,
it couldn't have been an axe. Yeah.
right.
Right, right.
She used the little hatchet.
And I think even the iron would have been awfully awkward to swing around that many times too.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think it's
those
sharp
things
enough
are
either.
like 1 billion pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if she possessed the physical strength to do that.
Mm.
There's so many nooks and crannies and inconsistencies and just so much stuff that appears in his case. Even years later, you think, oh, I've talked about so many things in this case over and over, and then something else comes up and another idea, and you think, oh, this mystery will never be solved.
Yeah,
never be solved.
That was one of the things that I brought up to Kimbra. I would call her periodically as I was reading the book, because I felt that the more I learned, the less I knew.
Yeah.
It just seems to be this really strange sort of, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But if I may, this is something I asked Kimbra, and if it would be okay to do. Can I go around and ask each of you, if you had the opportunity to have a conversation with Lizzie and you had one question to ask her, what would it be? Russ, I'll start with you.
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
She wouldn't answer any questions about it anyway. So it would be kind of like, what question I want to talk to you. She's more than made that clear a couple of times when I was up there.
Yep.
But I don't know. Did you really go to the barn
where she was eating her peaches,
her pears,
or her pears?
Yes.
Pears or looking for lead to make fishing sinkers.
Right.
Yes. And then because I was up in the barn and I did this and I did that and I did the other thing. And then another policeman goes up and says, there's nobody up here because it was all dust and everything like that. So did you really go to the barn? And my question is, all the traffic on that street with the horses and the carriages and clap, 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 you are how far away in that barn? And somebody in the house where the door is locked, and well, not locked, but shut, and he's in another part of the house, and she's up in the barn, and she can hear him groaning.
So would your question be to her, why did you lie about being in the barn?
I wouldn't call it lying. I would just say, were you really in the barn?
Okay. Bill, how about you?
Well, and hold the thought.
Oh, okay.
And if she did hear moaning while she was in the barn, where was the killer at the time? Because she, like I said, again, they would have crossed paths somewhere because of the way, the barricade and barbed wire around the back fence, and there was really no way out. I mean, the front fence, there was a fence, where the driveway was.
It was almost like a compound.
Exactly. It was locked up tight. So, he would have had, that killer would have had to either jump over the back fence or escape somehow. And I don't possibly see how it could have happened. But anyway, Justy, I'm sorry. Good question. Good question. I
know, Sue, you I had asked you before, and you said you would ask her about forgive me. You said you would ask her about the relationship
with David Anthony.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Was there more to the story there?
You're right.
Right.
Well, a lot of people don't know about that story. Just tell them who David Anthony is, and
Well, it's interesting because I never knew who David Anthony was at first. But I was alone in the house one night, and I turned on this thing called a spirit box. It's like white noise. And a male voice came through. So I asked who it was, and he said his name was Anthony. So I just said, oh, hi, Anthony. He said, I'm dead. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, how did you die? He says, motorcycle. So now I think I'm talking to a modern day spirit just passing through the house or something. So I said, well, what brings you here? Did you live here? Did you know somebody? And he says, in love. Now my guest stopped to arrive. So I says, well, thanks for talking to me. And I shut it off. After my tour that night, for the heck of it, I Googled, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I Googled Anthony/Lizzie Borden. And I got this whole article come up about a man named David Anthony. And he was supposedly a boyfriend of Lizzie's.
Uh-huh.
And the two of them were in Marion, Mass together. They were in a lot of places actually at the same time. And he died on a motorcycle.
In the 1890s?
Nope, he died in early 1900s. I forget what year, 1925 maybe. It was right before Lizzie died.
Okay, yeah, the motorcycles were pretty new then too.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh. I says, that must have been David Anthony in the house. And he said he was in love. So perhaps if she had this boyfriend, he had something to do with the murders. Maybe Andrew wasn't allowing it or something. I don't know.
A very new a very new iron in that fire.
Wouldn't it have benefited Andrew though to find the girls a proper suitor, like mate? To sort of get him out of the house.
I think so.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Like I kind of I'm sorry, since my stroke words escape me. I said there was something else going on in that house. And I really think that there was. I think I know it's a rotten thing to say, but I really think that there was. A few things have made me think that. And if that's the case, then perhaps Andrew did not want these girls to leave
you're saying
him.
like an incestuous kind of nature?
Even,
that's a theory too.
Even as they were older, because usually that kind of
Mm.
abuse happens when the children are pretty young.
Oh, I believe it probably began then.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Keith, how about you? You're sitting with Lizzie. What are you going to ask her? One question.
When you were little, you were very close to Abby. And I just want a brief sketch of what happened between that period of time and when she passed. How did that relationship falter?
Are you talking about Emma?
No, Abby.
Abby.
Lizzie,
okay.
When Lizzie was when Abby first come on the scene, there was a very close relationship there with Lizzie and Abby.
Lizzie probably reached out to her as a mother figure.
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
Emma did not, because Emma was 15, I think, or 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
There was never that relationship with Emma.
Right.
So was it something Abby did? Was it something Emma did? At what point did Abby stop being mom or mummy or whatever she had initially called her? That really tracing that relationship, I think, gives us the answers we want. And we can pick up some from different testimony and conversations, such as how Lizzie and Emma were angry about, it was the Ferry Street house. I may be wrong about the house being signed over to Emma's family.
To Emma's family, Abby's family.
Yeah,
no.
So it wasn't Ferry Street?
No, Andrew made up for it by giving the girls Ferry Street.
That's
it was
right,
actually
yes.
It was actually Abby's sister's house.
Yeah.
House.
Yeah, sister's house.
Yes, that's
Sister's
right,
house.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kimbra.
So Ferry Street went to them.
God.
Kimbra, what would you ask Lizbeth?
I don't know. I would ask her about how she felt about women's rights.
Okay.
About
suffragette. Suffrage.
Mm-hmm. The suffrage movement.
She was a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if she felt repressed in the way she lived, and that sort of questioning line. I would get into with her, because she had some really famous women friends near the end of her life. When she used to go to Washington D.C., make trips and
to see shows and things like that.
I think was it Roosevelt's wife or someone that she was friends with. It was somebody famous like that.
Yes. Vickery.
It was a President Roosevelt's.
Yeah, his assistant, Howe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like she kept these friends that were very influential politically, and I often thought, like, was she was very much aware of that when she was in 92nd Street of not being able to do what she really wanted to do or be who she wanted to be. I really felt she was like an artist type person. She loved the theater. She read a lot, and I, think she lived a hard life in her mind.
Do you think you think she was an artist of some sort?
Well, she loved the arts for sure, and
she wrote a screenplay.
Yeah, she did. Yes.
Okay, so she was a writer. Okay, okay. See that I was unaware of that. I was unaware of that.
So she was a woman, I think, beyond her years in that respect.
Ahead of her time a bit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But she also incriminated herself when she was in jail and gave the only interview to Mary Livermore, who was a prominent activist in all of those movements, where she said if the murder was done, well, if how she would have done the murder. It was like when OJ wrote his book.
If I did it,
I did it, she did the same thing. Did you ever read that portion of writing that she said? I'll send it to you, Sue. It's crazy. She said, I would have done it, and why would I have done it? Like, oh my God!
Yeah, I know.
I'll send it to you. But I should. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, she kind of goes through step by step. Right? It's almost a methodical layout of how she'd have done it.
Yes.
And it's again more bizarre.
Really bizarre.
More bizarre offerings to throw into the Lizzie stew, as it were. I would ask her.
But did it match what happened?
That's a very good question.
I'm looking for it right now. So as you're
I would ask if she loved her father. I'd be curious to.
I think she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's controversy on the ring, though. They said that something that wasn't her father's ring because they didn't have school rings back then.
It wasn't a school ring, but it was her ring.
But now, Sue, if your summation has any basis in fact that maybe there was some kind of incestuous abuse going on, did she love her father? Or I mean, was it a love that was twisted by this, horrific abuse that maybe went on for over a decade? Who knows?
Yeah.
And resulted in this, unimaginably brutal crime.
Right. I mean, I can't claim to understand it, but
right.
I believe it occurred. Yeah.
Okay. Again,
I have heard too that abuse victims, if they kill the person that's doing it, they obliterate their face.
Yeah.
What?
And that's what happened to Andrew.
That would make sense. Or the genitals, too, or both. But the face I could certainly understand. Literally trying to erase the memory of the... Yeah.
And it would explain a lot of her odd behaviors.
Yeah, her peculiarities. Because that's a word that does come up a lot when describing her, when people described her or talked about her.
Yep, she canceled plans she was looking forward to a few occasions.
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, the more we learn, the less we know. It's really it's really quite an enduring mystery.
Okay, Miss Mary Livermore. Okay, here we go. So,
And you mentioned OJ there, the similarities. We could do a whole podcast on the similarities between Lizzie Borden's case and OJ Simpson's case.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating?
It
150 years later or whatever. Yeah.
So this is what Lizzie said in part of her interview. I have the whole interview, so I can send you, but this is a part of it. And Mary saying this, and then she grew more excited and spoke of the crime itself. She's referring to Lizzie, and this is what Lizzie said. How can they think of me as guilty? What a fool I must have been if I committed the crime like in broad daylight, with the certainty of detection, with people going to and fro on the street, with Bridget washing the windows and likely to come in for water at any minute, with my uncles visiting us and likely to be back at any time with the curtains up and the neighbors astir. I knew every foot of that house. I could have walked all over it in the dark, sure of my way. Why, if I contemplated that crime, should I have not done it at night? 2 blows as they lay asleep, no noise, no stir. I could have opened wide the street door, made evidence of a struggle in the room, and then with plenty of time, removed from myself all traces of blood, going quietly to bed. But they say I committed both crimes at noonday and removed from myself all evidence of this horrible work. How can they believe that?
Well, because who else could
She
have
was
done
very
it?
intelligent. Very
Yeah,
intelligent.
she was.
Isn't that amazing, though? I mean, it's just like, okay. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, so we have a few minutes left with this podcast. I want to thank everybody for, participating in this. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you for including me, Kimbra. It's
Newbie, newbie. And
really,
he wants to go to the house, Sue, so maybe I'll let you know when Jonas is going to go and you can, go and say hi. Or Shelley.
Yeah, I'm definitely an enthusiast for sure.
So quickly, I'm gonna go around, and you guys are gonna tell me what you're up to these days because I haven't talked with you in a while. So, Sue, what have you been up to? What are you working on, if anything? Because I know you're doing all the paranormal investigations and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A one-word answer that kind of encompasses everything.
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but I have had cancer issues this year, so I was.
I am not aware, and I hope I
Yeah.
wish you all the best in health, my lady.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very
my
much.
gosh.
But yeah, I haven't really been up to too much lately.
Okay. All right. Well, health is most important. But I am glad you're here, and I so enjoy talking with you about the case, and because you are a person with a lot of knowledge, and yeah, I miss the days up in Fall River, and just take care of your health, be well.
Also working on a Lizzie book.
Okay, great.
Well, there you go. Keep that from us.
But, well,
Yeah.
because it's actually the paranormal aspect of it all.
Oh, great. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, there's another book to add to my
Yeah.
bookshelf on the
The pile keeps growing. So, Keith, I know you're doing
an autographed copy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Keith, you're doing some theater projects?
Not too much right now. I'm getting ready to direct something for Christmas locally at the community theater. And just, I'm a father of 4, and I'm into sled hockey and para hockey, and I'm learning Gaelic, and I'm learning fiddle right now. And just, bits and pieces of things rather than dive in. I know a few folks who are following the case as we upload them. Are going to be seeing this, and we ran into some tech issues. Some files got lost. We've got files from 2020 that still haven't seen the light of day, and we've got files that have to be re-recorded. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We began this during COVID when everyone had time and everyone had computers, and over the last few years, everybody's lost their time and everybody's moved into smartphones and other things. So
Yeah.
the next episode will be up, or the next edition will be up eventually.
That's awesome.
But it's wonderful to, Sue and Rusty, I've seen your names a million times on different things. It's so nice to be in this room. Of course, Jonas, we're meeting now as for the first time, but so nice to be around folks and to finally have a conversation together and put names to faces.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's very exciting. It really is. It's exciting to be so enthused about something, that I obviously I've known about Lizzie Borden from the peripheral, but once I dove into Kimbra's book, I'm one of you now.
Well,
He went down the rabbit hole.
Eventually, I will be. Yeah, the Lizbeth rabbit hole, for sure. That I found that interesting too. That she preferred. She liked that sort of nickname that was given to her, right, by the nieces of friends of hers, the nieces and nephews. She liked Lizbeth. At the the tail end of her life.
Mm-hmm.
So I one day when I said to Kimbra, I mentioned Lizbeth, Kimbra said, be sure to only refer to that when you're talking about the end of her life, because the fans, they're very rabid about, certain things.
Like
So-
you couldn't say Lizzie in the Maplecroft house.
No,
Right.
I did not allow it.
Yeah, exactly. God forbid.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful to you all for, accepting the newbie and sharing, your knowledge and all of your really fascinating theories.
Yeah, Rusty, what's up with you?
I was going to tell you something at the very beginning, and I forgot all about it. When I was probably, 18, 19, and the friend of mine who introduced me to all of this stuff back then, on Lizzie's birthday, we went to there was a lady and her husband who were like my second parents. And I spent a lot of time there. We spent holidays together and everything with my parents. And we decided to have Lizzie's birthday. And we made a cake. And we cut it with a little hatchet. My mother played Abby. My father played Dr. Bowen. No, I played Dr. Bowen. My father played Andrew. The lady who was my second mother, she played Addie. No, she was Abby. Her sister-in-law, who was like 70 something at that time, she was Addie Churchill. And for months afterwards, when she would come visit to Helen, and I was there, she'd say, I had such fun playing Addie Churchill. So I just thought that was like, how many people had a Lizzie birthday?
Yeah.
I think that's a great.
Okay, I'm weird, all right? I'm nuts. I'm
No,
crazy.
no.
I
I
think
get
that's
it.
a real fun kind of tradition.
Yeah, I get it. Dan?
Well, I'm busy doing all kinds of theater stuff. I'm in the process right now of setting up for a show. We are doing The Haunted Word, Tales from William Shakespeare, from Edgar Allan Poe.
Nice.
And that is opening Friday at the Whippoorwill Hall for the Yarmouth Players. It's 6 actors reading various Edgar Allan Poe stories, Mask of the Red Death, Cask of Amontillado. I can never pronounce the name of that thing.
Yeah.
A lot of
Annabelle
The
Lee?
Raven.
Is Annabelle Lee in
Annabelle
there?
Lee.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love Edgar Allan Poe. It's good.
Rusty sent out a video that I shot today.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
For one of the stories is the lake, and I have a water effect light which gives the dappled water effect on the stage and everything.
It's
So-
really
I saw it.
beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Yep.
really is.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
Friday and Sunday, and then in between on Saturday, I have a Indian music group coming in to do a recital.
Wow.
Indian as in from India, not Native American.
Right,
Indian.
right.
That's big.
So they kind of like interrupt the show.
So quickly before we go, I just want to ask how everyone feels about the new murder show on Netflix coming out with the Lizzie Borden case. Have you heard about that?
I have not. I've heard.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about that? I mean, just by the pictures that the advertisement they had brought up and stuff.
I'm looking forward to yelling at the screen
and
saying,
the
"That's
actors
wrong.
that they
That's
picked.
wrong."
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you thinking?
Well, they're usually spot on though with the murder. But I don't understand if she was acquitted, why they even have her on that show, because they're all about serial killers and real life, like people that
Yeah,
were,
like Ed Gein and
like real murderers, like she was acquitted.
Menendez brothers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why would they even have her on that to begin with? And then they these actors that they pick.
I just said the same thing the other day. I said, well, she was acquitted.
Yeah. Right?
I guess we'll know.
Yeah.
We'll know.
All right, so we'll have to get back together to shoot the
It's gonna be
breeze
interesting.
after this, to vent.
Well, yeah, we'll have a lot to say, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I didn't like the last one they did with
Christina
God,
Ricci.
no,
The one with Christina Ricci.
is it the one where they were naked and stuff and the whole lesbian thing and going on?
Oh, that's
Oh,
Chloe
God.
Sevigny.
Chloe Sevigny.
Yeah, that one. I disliked that one a lot. It was just too much.
Chloe 7A.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I like her as an actress.
No, I do. But the story that they told with Bridget and Lizzie being like lovers
Yeah.
and stuff, and I think they did it for a shock factor because they had them both butt naked, and maybe it was oh look they're that kind of thing. Then to really tell,
I might want to watch that for research purposes.
Honestly, I never watched
you would
it.
say that.
I talked to Chloe about that.
Oh right, she
told
visited
me,
right.
She told me it was her imagination. She was always interested in the story, and that's what she imagined was going on.
Okay.
I said,
All right. Well,
okay.
again, another take of the story, but
Yep.
So we'll
Yeah.
see what this one holds.
The long and the short of it, it brings interest to the case. Unfortunately, sometimes 90% of it will come in. We still haven't rehabbed Abby since the Elizabeth Montgomery movie. We're still trying to let people know Abby wasn't such a bad person.
Right.
Right.
This is true.
It's been a long time. But, I had issues with, I think there was a Dahmer season of that. Was there not? Was there Jeffrey
Yes,
Dahmer?
there
Yes,
was.
there
There was
was.
a Dahmer. Yep.
To me, that's too recent. To me, there's still people hurting by that.
Mm-hmm.
And the
People
Menendez
is-
brothers also, they were recently in the news trying to get out of,
That
Read
that,
jail.
There's
that
a really
show.
good book, and the Menendez brothers, I would have issues calling monsters if you read the book and learn about the dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were
I
abused
agree.
as children.
Yeah.
They definitely were abused as children, but it's not to take away the crime that they committed because that was brutal also. So
the way it's-
psychologically, I mean, therapeutically, yeah, they had
Yeah.
major struggles growing up.
The way
Plus,
it's
I'm-
depicted is horrific in that series.
Oh, yeah.
It's the murders are. It's almost like real. The however they
The way
filmed
they
it,
did it, yeah.
the way they did it was really stunning.
It'll be interesting though to see what they do with this Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll know soon enough, and hopefully we'll all regroup and.
Yeah. Listen, guys, I have another podcast coming in. This is our podcast lounge out here in Staten Island, and Kenny and I do a lot of podcasting out of here. It's great. But I really thank you guys for like hanging out with tonight, and have nice holidays coming up. And Sue, take care of your health.
Yeah. Everybody.
I'm thinking of you, and I wish you only the best.
And Rusty.
And Rusty. And Rusty too.
Yeah,
Rusty. God.
Yeah. Yes, because remember I had the kidney cancer?
Yes. Rusty.
Yeah.
I'm so,
Yep.
What's going on here, you guys?
Just life. Life is going on.
Liz, I don't know. I went to the house a lot of times, was into Liz, so was Sue. Maybe Liz is like, this will get you.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. But anyway.
Well, I gotta go too.
All righty. All right, guys. Listen,
all
take
the best,
care.
everybody.
All the best to everyone.
Thanks so much.
And hopefully we will see you soon. I'll talk to you guys online for sure.
Thank you all
Yeah.
very much.
All righty.
Have a great night.
All
All right.
Peace
God
and
bless.
love.
Be well.
Bye bye.